nations with a proud history and a bright future. And as we face the opportunities ahead of us, the opportunities that stem from our decision to leave the European Union and embrace the world, our shared interests, our shared ambitions, and above all our shared values can and must bring us together.
But the reaction to Theresa May's speech has been less than united. The former Labour spin doctor Alistair Campbell came out to say he doesn't think he's ever known Britain more divided. On social media, Ian Burnell tweeted, "What planet is Theresa May on?" While in support of the Prime Minister, Mike Hassler wrote, "We're leaving the EU. We need everyone to pull together." So what do you reckon? Are we a nation divided by the Brexit result, or does the process mean we are all coming together? 08085 909 693. Emma Burnell, a Remainer, freelance journalist and Labour commentator. Hello, Emma.
Hi, Stephen. How are you?
Hello there. And Jonathan Isaby, political journalist and editor of Brexit Central, a pro-leave news website. The title gives it away. Hello, Jonathan.
Hi.
So, Theresa May wants us to be united. She's calling for unity and collaboration in the face of Brexit, Jonathan.
Absolutely, and indeed the country is more united than it has been on this issue for a very long time. Polling put out by YouGov just at the time that Article 50 was triggered showed that basically around 70% of the British population support getting on with Brexit and the government delivering on what people voted for last year. And the people like Alistair Campbell are now in a distinct minority because even the majority of people who voted Remain accept the result and say the government should get on with delivering it.
Well, they might accept the result, but they don't know what's going to happen. And there's no argument as to what should happen, surely.
Well, the Prime Minister...
And what the negotiation should or shouldn't be. It's jumping into the unknown.
The Prime Minister has set out a whole set of principles around the negotiation and the kind of Brexit that she wants to see delivered. A Brexit that gives power back to Britain over its money, over its borders, over its laws, coming out of the single market, coming out of the customs union, in order to give us that power to negotiate free trade deals with any country we like around the world, and indeed to taking back control of our cash and so on at the UK level. And say the majority of people who voted Remain accept that and want to see the government getting on with it. It is now a distinctly small minority who are saying the government shouldn't do that, and those who are trying to resist delivering Brexit are actually making the government's job far more difficult in the negotiations to come. In fact, just on the eve of triggering Article 50 on Brexit Central, we published a great piece by Austin Mitchell, the former Labour MP, a very robust politician, who said now is the time for recalcitrant Remainers to accept the result and back Britain, as he put it.
Emma?
Well, Austin Mitchell was an out-voter and out-campaigner, so he's hardly representative of the official opposition. Democracy only works when it's a conversation of two sides. Theresa May will get the best deal because we'll hold her feet to the fire every minute of every hour of every day to make sure that this is the least damaging deal possible. And I don't think that that's disunity. I think that's democratic.
You might want to respond to that, Jonathan.
Well, obviously one expects an opposition to hold the government to account for what it's doing. But at this very moment in time, when we're going to be going into these negotiations as a country, I think it does behove Her Majesty's loyal opposition to back Britain, to back the government in getting the best deal for Britain as we leave the European Union, and not to act in any way...
So backing Britain doesn't mean giving up your views and being frightened of expressing them, does it?
No, backing Britain is not the same as backing Theresa May. It's not the same. They're not synonymous.
But as this negotiation happens, we need to ensure that we get the best deal for the country. And I would hope that politicians of every political hue want to see the best deal for the country, I would hope that people in the country at large will want to see the best deal for the country. And I just worry that some of the rhetoric coming from people like Alistair Campbell is very, very counterproductive for the nation's interests, and effectively is weakening the government's negotiating position.
I to work in negotiation. I started my career in telesales. I know how to negotiate. You don't walk in there with some Pollyanna attitude. It's all going to be fine. They're going to give me everything I want. And by the way, I hate you all, and every single one of my tabloids is slagging you off. That's not how you have a negotiating position. What you do is you take the time to understand what the reality of the situation is, what you can get, what you should get, and what you should be pushing really hard for. And that is what the opposition should be doing. That's what the government should be doing, frankly, but they're being very lax in that position.
Is the country torn apart by Brexit, Emma?
I don't think the country is torn apart by Brexit. I think the country is very divided. We have a great deal of inequality that I personally believe Brexit is going to make considerably worse. But I think that what Brexit did was expose the very damaging fault lines that exist in our country that we haven't been properly talking about. People are very angry. Some of them voted Remain, some of them voted Leave. The ones who voted Leave have got what they want for now. That doesn't mean the other side suddenly go, oh, we're not angry anymore.
08085 909 693. Do you feel more united after Theresa May has given this speech saying that we all need to pull together? Do you agree with Alastair Campbell, who's come out and said he doesn't think he's ever known Britain more divided? And you say that that's damaging, Jonathan. How on earth is one person expressing a view damaging?
Look, I think that the view that Alastair Campbell and a relatively small number of people expressing quite vocally is unhelpful to the overall national effort to get behind getting the best deal. Alastair Campbell is clearly one of the most recalcitrant Remainers there are. He refuses to accept the result, and indeed there are some people of his ilk who say, they must try and reverse Brexit. No, the reality is that the people of this country voted for Brexit last year in unprecedented numbers, and it's the government's duty to deliver on that. And, I accept that the referendum campaign, obviously, itself seemed quite divisive, and obviously people voted on different sides, and, there were arguments within families and indeed, obviously, within political parties over what should happen. But you have a referendum, you get a result,
but all of those people
have to accept that and get behind delivering it.
Remember how close the result was, Jonathan. So all of those people who voted to remain, you just want them now to forget about their passionate vote and join the queue to leave, do you?
Well, they have clearly got to accept the result.
It doesn't mean they've changed their mind, though, about how they feel about it.
No, but the polling that's been done since the referendum shows that the majority of people who voted Remain, who are clearly disappointed at the result, of course they'd be disappointed if a result went against their way. I'm sure all of us who have been involved in the political sphere over our careers have had moments where we've been on a losing side and been disappointed. But at the same time, you have to accept the democratic will of the British people at the ballot box and move on accordingly.
No. Democracy doesn't just happen in a single vote. Democracy is a conversation. If your understanding of democracy is shut up and do what we tell you, that is not a democracy.
We had a very long conversation during the referendum campaign last year, and indeed over years running up to the referendum
since we had a different referendum in 1975. We've had an ongoing conversation because your side said, no, I'm not going to be shut up. No, I will not be told that's the end of it. So why should I now?
I'm not saying that you should shut up. Of course I'm not. But
that's exactly what you're saying. You're saying I should not be allowed to express my disappointment, my criticisms of the government's approach to Brexit, my worries about what the future of Brexit holds. I should not be expressing any of those things because it is damaging to the country for me to have freedom of speech.
I'm not saying those things. What I do want you to say is that you accept the result and that you want to see the government get the best deal for the country, because at the end of the day...
I do, which is why I will be pushing them every single day to do better than they are doing.
But you also said a little earlier, Leave got their way for now, implying that some short time down the road, the result's going to be reversed, which frankly
not short time, could happen in my lifetime, could not happen in my lifetime, but I won't shut about wanting it to happen because you guys didn't and you got your way. Maybe it's my turn in 40 years.
Well,
and I might live that long to see it happen.
Why is it also why are we just suddenly accepting that for a country to be united is a good thing? Isn't disagreement and expressed through democratic means part of a healthy society, Jonathan?
Oh, of course it is, and that's what we had during the campaign.
So why do we want?
But
why do you ever want unity at any stage in a country?
I think the distinct moment we're at now, we've just triggered Article 50, and there's going to be a period of negotiations over the next 18 months or so, in which we need to see the best deal achieved for Britain by the UK government, who are the ministers who are representing us at the negotiating table over in the European Union. And that negotiation, this is no longer a game. It's no longer a war of words.
It was never a game, Jonathan.
Indeed not. But what we need to see now is the best possible deal achieved, and having people from within our own ranks as a country in any way undermining the potential for getting the best deal actually rather saddens me.
I want the best possible deal, Jonathan. I just don't think I get that by not pointing out how badly the government is conducting their negotiations. How polyamorous, how closed-minded and closed-eyed they've been about what they say.
Well, the negotiations haven't started yet, really, Emma. So where are you getting this from? That they've done such a bad job?
We are having conversations. I'm saying that we have.
Yeah, but you're preempting the outcome, Emma. You're preempting the outcome, and it hasn't really started yet.
No, I'm pushing every single day because I don't think I should wait until they mess up to point out that they're going in the wrong direction.
Well, what's the right direction?
It's too important for that.
What's the right direction?
The right direction is a better deal with Europe, a deal where we actually
they haven't done a deal yet.
Working relationship. I don't see how any of the rhetoric that's coming from our government is going to help them have a working relationship with the people they have to negotiate with.
It is surely, Emma, hold on a second. Hold on a second. It is surely ludicrous, Emma, for you to say that you're going to spend every day asking for a better deal for Europe. You have nothing to compare it to. The deal isn't done.
The deal may not be done, but if I wait until...
So how can you have better than nothing?
I wait until they dry the ink on out of the customs union, on out of the single market, on out of any of the benefits that we have, on not even what Norway gets, then I will have not done my job in holding the government to account on what we get, or what the benefits for those things are, on how we could be negotiating better ways to deal with the European Union. I will not wait until the ink is dry and the deal is done to keep pushing for a better deal for my country.
I'm afraid that Emma is seemingly refighting the referendum campaign again, because coming out of the customs union, coming out of the single market, were absolutely fundamental positions of
That's not what most of the campaigners were saying on the telly. I watched them.
Not at all.
Dan Hanan, nobody's talking about leaving the single market.
No, people said that there was no question of not having access to the single market. The whole point about leaving the single market is that it gives us control over our borders. It gives us control through leaving the customs union to negotiate our own trade deals with other countries around the world. They were absolutely fundamental parts of what the Leave vote was about. And I'm afraid, Emma, you're going down that route of trying to deny what happened at the referendum last year.
I'm not denying what happened, Jonathan. I'm just not willing to give up fighting what I believe for.
You're not willing to accept
because I believe
the result.
in democracy. I accept I lost that result. That doesn't mean I've changed any of the things I care about. So I'm going to keep fighting for them. That's democracy.